A great big thank you to all of you mates. I still can't believe that I really crossed that magic line of 100 subscribers. You motivate me to make more videos, keep on building and trying to improve my skills, both on modeling and making videos. Again, thank you all. There are many different machines like the one I wanted to build, but that's only the design. In general, they're all pretty much the same. The one I built represents a mix of several drill presses and is not a tool that exists in reality. First I cut out the ground plate from 1mm plastic sheet. It's 18 by 18mm. The rear end should be narrower, so cut it to the desired shape. Then I glued the plate onto 0.5mm plastic sheet and cut it out along the lines. The plate should look heavy. I sanded the edges as even as possible. I glued one narrow strip crosswise to the rear part and 3 lengthwise to the front. I had to use a wider strip for the middle section because I made a mistake at measuring, but in my opinion it even looks better. After that I cut out a strip of 0.5mm plastic sheet to build the rim around the plate. That strip was 75mm long, so I had enough material to work with. I used plastic sheet from the German RC airplane manufacturer Graupner, but I think it really doesn't matter which brand you use. Important is that the stuff I use can't be glued with plastic cement. You need super glue, but it binds like hell. The sheet is easy to bend and it's very stable. I just filled the joint with super glue and sanded it smooth. I needed small circular parts which I found too difficult to cut out. I don't have a punch and die tool, but I saw a fellow modeler using this tool here. I've got several of them and it worked fine. All I had to do was cleaning the edges of the parts I made. The working area was built the same way I made the ground plate. I drilled a 2mm hole through the whole piece. It isn't as straight as I hoped it would be. Should have used a machine like the one I built here. The stand is made from 2mm plastic rod. I inserted copper wire to add more strength to it. Then I built the transmission housing and cover. I made it from 3 pieces of 0.5mm plastic sheet. At first I drilled a 2mm hole into the middle part and then glued it to another piece of plastic sheet. Then I cut it out along the lines. I sanded the edges and added a rim. After that I drilled a hole into another piece of plastic sheet. I used a drill bit to position it onto the other piece. That way I achieved a proper alignment of the holes. And then I cut out the lower piece. It is wider than the other part of the housing. Here's some dry fitting to make sure I measured correctly. Next step was building the motor. I constructed a cylinder from 2 of the round pieces I made and a strip of plastic sheet I bent and glued around them. I glued the cylinder onto another round part I had attached under the rear end of the transmission housing. The cooling for the motor was made from 0.5mm silver wire. The pieces of wire were longer than the actual length because I needed a pair of tweezers to put them in place. I cut off the ends and filed them into shape. Time to build the main body of the machine. I used a piece of 1mm plastic sheet. The front portion is rounded and the rear is straight. I drilled a 2mm hole in the front area where the drill would sit. I sanded the end of a piece of round plastic rod into a pinpointed shape. Then I sanded another piece down to a smaller diameter. I inserted a short piece of 1mm copper wire into both rods, leaving a piece of wire visible. After that I glued a broken 0.3mm drill bit into the lower opening of the thinner rod. I cut off about 75% of the drill bit to make it fit. The rear part was made from 0.2mm copper sheet. The last bits and pieces, some handles, a placard and hinges. Ready for painting. Some impressions of the primed and finished drill press. All colors used are listed. If there are any questions on how I painted the model, feel free to ask me in the comment section or per personal message.